Hello all. So in this tutorial we are again going to work with the Illustrator. So in this tutorial we are going to work with text tool in Illustrator. So let's get started. So very first of all, let me explain you something about text tool. In the previous tutorial we had gone through the pen tool and its properties. So now we are going to go through some kind of text properties, the text tool. So if you click over here, you can see there is a type tool over here. So let's click on this type tool over here. So let's push that out over here. And if you see this over here, if you click on this over here and if you write something like Adobe Illustrator, so you can just write this Adobe Illustrator. Let's resize this. So you can resize it with many other options. You can just select this text, go into this type tool, select this type tool, and you have an option over here, that's your font size. You can go into this and increase the font size. So after you have increased the font size, you can also change the font over here. If you want to change the font, you can just go into this and you can just change the font, or you can just click over here and just press the down arrow to change the font. So whatever font you require, you can easily change the font. So now what I can do over here is like I can easily change this font as you like, as you can see. So let's take any of the font over here. We'll take one font. So let's take this font over here. And if you want to change the color of the font, you can easily change the color of the font. So your color of the font can be easily changed. So whatever font color you want, you can just take that color for the font. You can easily change the color of the font. So this is your font fill and this is your font stroke. So if you want to give a stroke or border or something to the font, that can be easily given over here. That can also you can give easily over here using this option. That's your font stroke over here. If you don't need a stroke, you can just off this stroke over here. Just select this over here. Now I have few of its properties over here, like you can make it as regular. If you have bold or something, that can be done over here. You can also go with the opacity of that font. If you want to make it more transparent, you can make it more transparent. So before I go with this, I can, if you want to place a rectangle in the background, just give any color to the background. Right click, arrange, send to back. So you can see, you can just select this font over here. Now if you zoom this font over here, you can just click on its character over here. Can you see its character properties for the font? Yes. So now if you go over here, you have first property, if we'll go over here as set the tracking. So if you click on the tracking, you can see the distance between the letters have been increased with the help of this tracking option. So once you go with this tracking option, you can work with this properties. So let's make this as 0. So 0 was a default property for that character. So now if you click over here and let's just select this, Control C, that is for copy. Let's enter it and again paste it. So now if I select this over here, again if I go into the character, now you have option called set the leading. So if you use this set the leading, you can increase, decrease the distance between the two lines. That's your leading over here. So that's what your auto and optical, that's option. You're kerning between the two characters. After that, if we go into this, the third option we have over here, that is called horizontal scale. If you want to scale the any of the character, so let's just delete this over here. If you select this, if you go into this character, and if you want to scale it in one of the axes, you can scale it. So it is just stretching it in horizontal and vertical. So let's make it as 100, that's default. And if you want to scale it in vertical, so you can scale it in vertical. So if you want to stretch the font or scale it in vertical axis, that can be easily achieved over here using this option. So same thing, I'll just make it as 100 over here. After that is done, again just click on the character over here. We'll come to that is your base lift. So base lift is something like you can just lift up the character, or if you have something written over here, you can just easily lift that up. So you can just select this character and you can just lift this base lift. So if you want to lift any kind of a line, that can be lifted. And this is for your rotation. If you want to rotate any of the characters or font or something, that can be easily rotated over here in this rotation option. After that, if you click on this, that's your all caps. If you want, that is your small caps. So small caps, in that your first letter will be capital, the rest will be smaller, all caps. And you have a superscript and subscript, we'll come to that, underline, and your strike through. So if you want to cut something, you can just use a strike through or something, that can be easily achieved over here. So how superscript and subscript work is like, so for example, if you're writing something like H2O, that's a formula for water. So if you write something over here, I'll go into the character, I'll just off this, and you have this option called superscript. So let's select this 2 over here, let's go into the character and let's give it a superscript. Oh sorry, it's a square, I'm extremely sorry. You can just go with the subscript, that's your subscript. And if you're writing something like x square or something, so you can just select this, go into the character, and you can go with the superscript. So in this way, these things will work out accordingly. So while working over here, this is a text over here. Now if you go into this and if you select this over here, and if you go into this object and you have option called expand. So once you click on the expand option, what expand will do is like, expand will break the text. So if you expand it, so this text will get converted into an object. So it's like, it's very simple. So for example, if you want to send your file to some client, and it's like if you are sending a file to that particular client, and if that client doesn't have that font, and if you have some particular special fonts which you utilize in your machine, and if it doesn't have a same font, it might get converted into a default font. So, or either he has to download that particular font to show that font, or else it will show missing fonts into his application. For that, what one thing we do over here is like, we convert this font into a object. But disadvantage of converting into this is like, you cannot make it again into a font. So you can just make it a copy of that file particular, and you send the other file and expand it. So once you expand it, you will see that this has been converted into an object. So now if you zoom it and if you see this, this is no more a font. Now you can just select this direct selection tool and these are all your anchor points. Can you see this? These are all your anchor points. These are all your anchor points. So if you select this over here, if you select this part, if you select this part and if you push this up, you can easily push this up. You can easily push it. You can easily select this. You can easily edit this over here. So these are the things which you can do over here. So once you break the text, so now this is in the form of editable form. So now this is no more a text. So you cannot change the font. So now even if you select this, you will not see any kind of a font changing options over here. So that is not visible over here because you have converted your font into curves, or you have expanded that particular font. So we have few of its properties will be coming up in the next tutorial. So thanks for watching this tutorial.